Cladding safety work needs target dates to stop residents living with the fear of fire, says the government spending watchdog. I'm going to read into this piece from Sky News, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from Sky News with the headline that the cladding safety works needs a target date to stop residents living with fear of fire, says the government spending watchdog. In the 7 years since the Grenfell fire claimed the lives of 72 people, campaigners have repeatedly criticised the slow process of remediation work. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So what came out of the budget with terms of Grenfell, I will say, before we dive more into this, about £1 million worth of extra funding is going to go towards buildings, obviously, that in need of replacing their cladding, related to the same combustible elements that were used, that was in the tower of Grenfell, which obviously where the lives of 72 people lost their lives. But it is all well and good putting money aside. You know, having the funding there is pretty good. It's about making sure that those who have those buildings, that have those high rises, that own those buildings, make sure to get the work done. Now, it's not always a case. There's always this problematic problem about, well, who pays for it? Is it the owner of the building? Is it the guys who put in the work on the building? Is it the health and safety people who approved of it and whatnot? You know, I really, it's so, to me, it's no longer a case about, like, don't get me wrong, there needs to be justice for those who were responsible for what happened at Grenfell. But I just want the work to get done. Of course, I can understand that if people were infuriated saying it was all coming out of taxpayer money to ensure the cladding gets done on all these buildings. I could get that. I understand that. And I can understand people saying, well, the owner who owns the building should be paying it, or the companies behind the putting the cladding in should pay for it, or whatnot. Shouldn't be taxpayer money. I get all that. I totally accept those points. I accept those arguments, and they are valid arguments as in doing so as well. But there is just too much hassle about getting the actual work done. And I'm sick and tired of the work not getting done. And I'm sick and tired of people consistently living in fear of these buildings that aren't safe, that could die as a result of, if something, just one little match, something goes wrong and the building can go up in flames. I mean, it's 2024, for crying out loud. We should not be going into 2025. We should not be even having this. There should not even be a discussion on this. This should not even be an issue. Grenfell should not have happened. We should be using common sense here, but instead we are using materials and elements that are dangerous in order to save some bucks, for some people, some money in their pockets. That's the whole reason. Money has been prioritized over people's lives, over this whole thing. And he just needs to get the work done. And I really do hope that people within government push to get these buildings, these buildings or any other ones that using the same elements that were used in Grenfell, just get them done. Just get them done, get them sorted so that people can stop living in fear. Stop living in fear of a possible fire that could spread all over their building. You know, the last thing that you want to do is move into a high-rise building and not know that. Or, could even be worse, be lied to. And then you find out later on that they had it. Like, that's even worse. Get it done. Get it sorted. You know, it needs to be sorted. And this, absolutely, this slow process is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous that we still have this issue. And I understand the Conservatives, they didn't give a damn. We know it didn't give a damn. Yeah, they didn't give a damn because they let people die while they carried on partying during the pandemic, for crying out loud. So, Labour, wake up and get this done. You've put money aside for the infected blood scandal. Great. You put money aside for the post office scandal. That's great. You ignore the waspy women. That's bad. Shouldn't have ignored them. You've put some money aside for Grenfell, for the Grenfell cladding, replacement of cladding. Great. Now, can you just make sure that those who put it in or whatever just get it done? Like, you guys are in charge. You run the country. You run the UK. Just make sure these buildings are now safe. Just get it done. Thousands of people living in buildings with dangerous cladding should be given a target date for when their homes will be made safe, says Whitehall spending watchdog. Between 9,000 and 12,000 buildings are expected to need the cladding dealt with at the cost of around 16 billion. 16 billion! 12,000, between 9,000 and 12,000 buildings. Why are we 9,000 and 12,000 buildings? However, more than 7,200 of those buildings are yet to be identified, and some may never be, according to the National Audit Office. Oh my. So, because some of them may never be, because we may never be, we're going to have a situation where we could have Grenfell again, even if we assume we can't count every single one of these buildings. It warned that work to make all these buildings safe may not be achieved in the next decade, leaving residents living in fear of fire and costly bills. Why are the residents forking up the bills? Why are residents having to fork up the bills? Why do the residents have to suffer on this? It's not fair on them. Their lives, their homes, their living. Why are the ones that they have to suffer from this? Never mind the cost. And being told that they have the costly bills, that's not fair on them. It's absolute bullshit. The NAO report published today said the impact of dangerous cladding have extended far beyond the immediate victims of the Grenfell fire, with many people suffering significant financial and emotional distress. Although the Building Safety Act of 2022 means most leaseholders didn't have to pay for remittance costs, many have seen hikes in service charges because of increased insurance premium, struggled to get mortgages, and are unable to move home, according to the report. Because these insurance companies and whatnot, they don't want to cough up the bills for them. Government needs to do something about this. Some are also paying for wacky watches to patrol buildings while waiting for cladding to be removed. An average cost of £140 a month per home. Waking watches. Someone will have to explain in the comments what that is. In the 7 years since the Grenfell Tower fire claimed the lives of 72 people, campaigners have repeatedly criticised the slow process of remediation work. Of the 4,821 buildings already identified as needing work, only half have either started or completed remediation work. Okay, so the Conservative government have started on some. Okay, I guess that's better than nothing, but still. Pace has been a persistent concern, and remediation within the portfolio is progressing more slowly than the Ministry of Housing, Community and Local Government had expected, said the NAO report. That's the MHCLC. The department estimates cladding remission will be completed by 2035. So they've got to wait another. Some people got to wait up to 11 years before some of them can be done. But the NAO warned this will be challenging to achieve. Okay, I'm telling you right now, if they say it's going to be 2025, you might as well add another 5 years on it. Or maybe even 10 years. Or maybe some people are going to be living in this incident for the rest of their lives. It also warned taxpayer costs that need to be kept down to meet the £5.1 billion cap set by the government, and building developers would need to pay. Their contributions aren't expected to be collected until next autumn under a new levy. Putting the onus on developers to pay and introduce a more proportional approach to remediation should help to protect taxpayer money. It also creates a grounds for dispute, causing delays, said Gareth Thomas, head of the NAO. To stick to the £1.5 billion cap in the long run, MHCLC needs to ensure that it can recoup funds through successful implementation of the proposed building safety levy. Yeah. Something tells me, like I said, it's not going to be as simple as just, these building companies, developers picking up the tab. They're not going to want to pick up the tab. A lot of them will not want to pay any way, shape, or form, and try and brush it off or try and get away in some way, shape, or forms. But But here's the thing, guys. Like, I get the taxpayer money side of it. I really, really do. But we're talking about people's lives. And I know what some people will also say as well. Some people will say, well, Regan, if these buildings aren't safe, if people are living in constant fear of fire, excuse me, why not get them out the buildings then? Well, that sounds like a very simple solution. The only problem is we're struggling with housing, unfortunately, as well. We have a big housing problem at the moment, which is another big headache, unfortunately, that we're having to deal with. Yeah, it's not good, is it, right now? So what should Labour do? Well, I just think they need to apply more pressure to ensure the work gets done. Labour, the government, needs to apply more pressure on them. If they're serious about this getting done, then they should apply more pressure to do on those responsible to do so. But they must do something to help those who are living in these conditions and ensure that they are being looked after, they're being cared for, and that all precautions are being made while they're still living in these dangerous conditions. Because they are dangerous conditions, because it could happen at any time to them. You know, we've said we don't want to repeat a Grenfell. Well, at the moment, there is a very high chance of it. When you have, when you have as much as 12,000 possible buildings that still need replacing. So what do you guys think? What do you guys make of this situation around cladding safety? What do you guys make about the money that the government has put in? And it could take up to 11 years perhaps to get them done, possibly even longer. I would not be surprised. Do you think the government cares about these? And should residents be paying anything for them? Because I don't think they should. But what do you guys honestly think? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you found this video informative or helpful to you, please click the like button. We greatly appreciate. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing because it really does help support the channel. If you want to go one step further and financially support me and the work that I do here, you could do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. Or you can join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.